Christian Drosten, how much longer do you expect this corona pandemic to go on for still globally?
Well, it's very difficult to make global projections. We have very difficult situations. In countries around here, in Europe, the winter will not be an easy one. We will have vaccines during the next year to come. I guess it will last until end of the next year, until significant parts of the population can be provided a vaccine. So we won't get rid of masks anytime soon. So even while we start vaccinating, the population in largest parts will have to wear masks. In countries like Germany, where incidence is low, there will be nothing like a population-based protection. This is something we probably shouldn't consider for any country in Europe. In other parts of the world, the situation is very difficult to judge. For instance, in Africa, we have signals of lower, let's say, disease presentation, less severe presentation. This may be due to the lower age profile, but we need to consider that what we are looking at now is urban areas on the African continent where the population composition is particularly young.
With all that you know, which regions around the world are causing you the greatest concern at the moment?
Well, India is the current biggest concern. India has a big population density, and the virus is spreading. I wouldn't say in an uncontrolled fashion, but it is almost like this. Then, of course, areas in South America. I already spoke about Africa, so the African continent is a little bit of a mystery at the time being. But also in the northern hemisphere, winter is coming, and there are areas, including in Europe, where there is little control, where countries already go into autumn with a high background incidence, and where the trust in, let's say, the rigidity of the medical structures, but also the power of public health intervention is low.
Many countries around the world have looked at Germany as an example where things went fairly well. What did we do right here?
So the decisive point probably was that Germany reacted very early on. So this is not in terms of calendar date, but in terms of the relative point of time when contact restrictions, sometimes called a lockdown, were imposed as compared to the actual development of the epidemic. So we knew about our epidemic based on laboratory testing, and this widespread availability of laboratory testing is something that discriminated Germany from other countries. One reason of this being that we were really fast on the lab level to react. Another explanation, of course, that our epidemic started somewhat later.
You've already said that we will have to live with masks for a long time to come still, even with a vaccine in place. So when will we be able to hug each other again? Grandparents, but also strangers?
This will be a very regional question. So in parts of the world, I wouldn't be surprised to see population protection during the next year to come. But this means they will have undergone an epidemic that may not appear as such a severe epidemic based on their age structure. So we already spoke about Africa, where this could happen. At least this is what I wish, that African populations are protected because of their younger age profile. That would be a very good expectation. In other parts of the world where the concept is to avoid widespread virus transmission, to wait for deployment of a vaccine, we can expect to wear masks until end of 21. I would expect. It's impossible to make exact projections, but the next year will be a year in which we wear masks.
Thank you very much, Christian Drosten.